Now then, people, good evening. It is evening now, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I hope you are all doing well. Listen, we weren't going to be chatting until, of course, 7 p.m, 7:30, should I say, when the Euros kicks off and the Euros coverage gets underway on the Just Joe Football Show, 7:30 on the dot. Make sure you're there, be there or be square, and all that jazz. Listen, we are going to now be chatting about Leeds United's transfer window. Just because it's not got off to the best possible start. Remember we was talking about, earlier on saying, oh, God, no, like, oh, the window and everyone's going to be kicking off. Why haven't we signed anyone? Blah, 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 blah. And then, obviously, we've had an Athletic article, which we'll go through, about prospective exits, etc. I'm thinking... One second. I'm just sorting some stuff out on here. Right, okay, so my head's thinking, right, okay, prospective exits, etc. We'll chat about it. We'll go through it. Then we've got the latest news that Matteo Joseph's going to be called up for the Olympics. Now, what does that mean? That means he's going to miss the start of pre-season. So that's a real dilemma because the club... I mean, I want to know where people's thoughts are on that, because if he goes to the Olympics, right? I know, Damar, I'm shitting myself up. So basically, I'm going to share the tweet. I'll stop fumbling and bumbling. I'll share the tweet. Also, Brendan Aronson's going to Copa America, but the big one's Matteo Joseph, because obviously he'll go to the Olympics. It looks like he's going to go to the Olympics for Spain. Now, he's been approved to play for Spain by the International Olympic Committee, clearing him for his Paris 2024 selection. Now, what that means is he's going to miss like 3, maybe 4 weeks of pre-season. So it really is a dilemma for the club, whether or not they choose to release him, but also for the player. Because if Matteo Joseph decides to go, and of course, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and you'd imagine the fact that Spain have gone to the lengths of actually getting him ratified to play for their Olympic team, that he's probably going to want to go. Otherwise, it wouldn't have gone that far. So, if he goes, he's going to miss quite a lot of pre-season. Now, a lot of us want him to be our number 9, don't we? Right? We want him to be our number 9. Now, if he does go there and he's not going to be that, it might do him good, Sterling, but I think personally he needs to stay put. Because like Jay Racer said, Joseph's going to miss the start of the season now. And if he misses the start of the season, then he, like Damar says, Bamford's going to be leading that line. And we already know Farker will see that and be like, well, listen, I'm not... You know what I mean? If he's not going to be here... Yada, yada, yada. If he's not going to stay for pre-season. So it's a bit of a mad one. Like, if I'm looking here, like Luke says, Luke, who comes on here from Ought to Know Better in response to my tweet, removes his chances of being starting centre forward for sure. Witless Walrab, he's going to miss the start of the season. A lot of people now thinking that we need a 9. So... yeah, maybe we go out and get a new centre forward. He shouldn't be starting as our 9 anyway. Hell no, let him go get minutes. So I would like to see him start, if I'm being totally honest. Also, we'll chat about it, but Ben Johnson is set to accept a new 5-year deal at West Ham. I did think it was highly unlikely that we'd get him, especially being in the Championship, but it looks like Julian Lopetegui has managed to convince Ben Johnson to stay at West Ham. So he looks like he's going to be staying there. So if he signs that deal, that's 5 years, he's done. I think it was highly unlikely that that he was going to come to us anyway. And if we're going to go anywhere, it's probably going to be Connor Roberts, isn't it? Or maybe Alfie Gilchrist on loan. We've also got to throw into the mix as well, folks, when we think about the Copa America. How long will Brendan Aronson be out for? It seems a while. I'm just looking at Let me have a look at I just want to have a look at our group chat because the lads have put some stuff in there. Yeah, like Lockie's going to come on, and Andrea potentially, if he's got time, to come on just after we've gone through the news so we can have a discussion about it and get into your comments as well. Like Lockie, listen, I don't want to share what Lockie said because I think he's going to come on. But yeah, not only that, apparently, I don't know if this is true, but Andrea as well was saying that Junior Firpo can be called up by Dominican Republic as an overage player. So maybe that could happen as well. And then Aronton's going to the US, which means Copa America. So he's going to miss parts of pre-season as well. So like the video said, it's not getting off to the best possible start. The transfer window's not getting off to the best possible start because, you know, one of our targets, Ben Johnson, is going to be staying at West Ham. Looks like he's going to sign a new deal, although, to be honest, I wasn't too worried about that anyway. I wasn't thinking that you know, that wasn't potentially as a big of a problem because I didn't think we would get Ben Johnson just because we were in the Championship. But Nancy Froston has done an article, obviously. Phil here is no more. And Nancy Froston now is the Leeds United representative. And, you know, she goes with the line, Leeds need a sale to help with PSR, but who would be the best candidate? Remember, we've spoken about high-ticket items previously in the past. Who are our high-ticket items? Somerville, Gray, Nonto, Rutter, maybe Melier as well you could throw in there. So let's see what she's been saying about each individual player. They're what I would consider high-ticket items. Nancy says Leeds know what they need to do this summer, even if the facts are uncomfortable. It is not now known that they need to sell, likely at least a significant exit. It is the harsh reality of missing out on instant promotion back to the Premier League, okay? We knew that anyway, right? It's not a fire sale as everyone would, but you know, expect you to believe, but it's definitely going to be. No, Copa Americas don't finish on the 14th of July. The Copa America starts later. Copa America doesn't start till the 20th, I think, mate. So that's not true. They don't start at the same time. It runs later. I think, if I remember rightly, just looking at my calendar, I'll be able to tell you when the first game is. I don't do a Copa America game till the 24th of June. Oh, no, sorry. Friday 21st is when it kicks off, I think, Argentina versus Canada. I think that might be the first game. Yeah. Can we sell you, Joe, to fund the transfers? Bro, listen, if I was an Arsenal content creator, I'd have about, I don't know, 80,000 subs now. So if you want, you can do that. Yeah, bro. Yeah, if you want, you can do that. How much do we bring in from sales? That's a conversation, isn't it? That's a conversation. Let's get back into the chat. So, despite the club meeting profit and sustainability regulations, requirements for the 3-year rolling period up to the end of last season, more belt tightening is needed to meet the EFL's regulations for the year ahead. Is this the Copa America? Is that Copa America as well? Have I got that wrong? Copa America dates. I feel like I must have got that wrong then. Nah, it kicks off on 21st of June. Or does the final finish the same? Let's have a look. Ah, the final is the 15th of July. Sorry, I apologise, Owen. Well, there you go. Theirs kicks off later but finishes the same. Yeah, my apologies, Oliver. Sorry, dude. It was me that was wrong. So, yeah. I just felt with it starting later that it would be also for the month, but obviously not many teams or whatever, so there you go. Anyway, so I can't believe no one's commented. It took me ages to do that. What are you doing here? Look. I can't believe no one commented. You've had to be prompted. This is the new Red Bull drink. That there is a picture of a bull. Can't believe none of you commented. It took me ages to do that. This is the new watermelon Red Bull. Very nice indeed. So, back to what's been said. Up in the Premier League, PSR rules allow for a maximum of 105 million in losses over 3 seasons. But in the second tier championship, that 3 season figure is now just 41.5 million. Parachute payments following relegation always help, but the club are going to receive less money in their second championship year, around only 35 million. Meaning Leeds' acceptable loss limit under PSR will drop from around about 83 million to 61 million over a 3-year cycle. Selling Calvin Phillips to Manchester City and Rafinha to Barca. Leeds do not have selling clauses for Phillips or Rafinha if they move on from this clause. Yeah, I'm not bothered about that, are we? But some sales are more helpful in PSR terms than others. Phillips, for example, was a very valuable sale because he came through the academy, right? Whereas Rafinha wasn't. Yeah, we know all this stuff. So with many of Leeds' players being potentially valuable sales in the window that officially opens today, here is a look at the pros and cons of selling some of their most prized asset. Okay, there you go, Carol. Exactly, man. Fucking brilliant, man. Red. I got border colouring them bits in, so I just wrote bull, and then I just drew you a picture of a bull. There you go. What's this say here? I've been told we have agreed a price. Nah, I don't see that, bro. Someone else mentioned that earlier. I had a look. There's nothing there. So Archie Gray is a potential big ticket item that Leeds United could sell. Look, emotion, there'll be tears if he is not wearing Leeds' white shirt. Could be Leeds get out of jail free card, but he is not one they want to use. Covers 2 positions for Farker. Has the potential to play for years to come and continue improving. She does mention in here, if Gray were to leave Leeds this summer, it would be pure profit and a likely big fee. Tottenham Hotspur and Dortmund are among the clubs believed to be taking a look at the 18-year-old. Listen, we know firsthand that Liverpool are as well. I just don't see it happening. I don't see or envisage a world in which Archie Gray is sold this summer. But like Nancy says, it would be like pure profit, right? It would be pure profit. I think Spurs, I don't know. Why Spurs? I don't understand it. Yeah. I almost feels that's like, seems with the skip stuff, and then we've got Dortmund because it's an easy link because Bellingham went there. I'm not too sure. Anyway, we move. Nonto had 1 foot out the door last summer. However, he is replaceable either with a new signing or from within the current squad. His reported fee of 3.8 million when he signed from Zurich was low and could be turned into a substantial profit. Everyone always tells me there's a huge sell-on clause. What is it? Where do you get that information from? Where have you seen it? I've never seen it yet. Let's have a look. Could generate a handy fee this summer if sold at the right price. Still young and a key player. Ampadu, success story. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. Yeah, like PSR. Unlikely to move in this window or command a fee worthy of any PSR being outweighing his contributions. Yeah, there's not a chance that Ampadu goes anywhere. Let me just send over. The Zurich owner said it in an interview. Where? I'm going to have a look for this after. Yeah, look, I don't think Ampadu's going anywhere. He's a high-ticket item, though, of course. Somerville, as we know, 1.3 million from Feyenoord in 2020 is an absolute steal, by the way. Opportunity cost. Somerville's stock is the highest it has ever been in this time at Leeds, but selling him could be a great loss for the upcoming promotion chase. I think we all think he'll go, though, right? He's been linked with everyone. I don't know why there's no names here, but then there is for Gray. I don't know. Pascal Strauch. I don't think Pascal Strauch goes either, to be honest. He could be vital next season, particularly with Joe Rodon returning to Tottenham this summer at the end of his loan. I don't think that has any bearing. A player Farkas described as a cornerstone of our future and already so significant to the current team. Only a crazy if he would make up for the loss of what he offers on the pitch. Rutter, Leeds record signing. Yeah, you're never going to recoup that at all, are you? So, yeah, I don't think he goes anywhere. Mellier's mentioned. Relatively cheap at 5 million. Potential for profit. Important in Leeds' strong defensive record last season with big stops. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Big up to Nancy for that. It's all a little bit maybe chitter chatter. I'm not too sure if there's anything in there in terms of actual sales stuff. I don't see the Archie Greater Spurs thing personally. Why have you got paper wrapped around your can of Monster, mate, and anything to do with advertising? No, it's Red Bull, mate. This isn't paper. This is actual Red Bull. I only drink Red Bull, bro. So that's what that is. It's Red Bull. There we go. Jack says, interviewing the Swiss Daily Blick. I'm going to have a look at that while we talk to my man Lockie. Lockie, how are you, mate? You having a good day?
Oh, man. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't see you then. It was
oh, right, okay. Am I here now?
Yeah, you're good, you're good.
Good stuff. Yeah, are you excited? Are you excited for the Euros?
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah. I've seen that Jude Bellingham advert thing.
Yes, I have seen the Jude Bellingham advert. Yeah. It's good.
Was amazing, man.
It's good.
Stuff like that gets you in it, doesn't it?
It does. What about the Twitter tune? England? No, we don't like that one.
not too keen on that one, mate.
Do you know what, right? Listen, the fact that the guy had to come out and massively put on this, like, I shouldn't have done the video, I was like, it's not that deep, man. Have fun, man. 18. I'd have been buzzing my tits off at that age, man. Feck it.
That's a proper Yorkshire saying, I think.
What?
I've been blowing my tits, you said?
Yeah, buzzing my tits off.
I've never heard that. Yorkshire, that, you know.
I've been buzzing my tits off. Yeah. Right, boys. Let's start first and foremost. Before we get into the other stuff, because I know you two have got a difference of opinion, which is not usual. That's not usual, right? So it's very unlikely. So talk to me about Matteo Joseph's decision, because Matteo Joseph looks like he's going to go to the Olympics. I think he will, because the fact that they've had to push through a decision by the Olympic Committee to get him signed up tells me that he's given them the go-ahead. Otherwise, why would he do it, right? Mm-hmm. So they've rushed that through. Looks like he's going to get called up. Now, of course, we can chat about what that means for Leeds United. Do we now need a number 9? Because a lot of us were like, he's going to miss large parts of pre-season, almost 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Andrea, first and foremost. Give me your position on it, my man.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not against it, to be fair. Because if you look at that from the side of a player, you know, it's different from the Euros and the World Cup. Of course, the Olympic Games, you know, they're very specific because you have to be under 23 to play. There's a squad list of only where you can only have 3 overage players over the age of 23. So it's not like in the 20s, in the 30s when the senior side were going out. It's like, you know, it's once in a lifetime, you know, in the end. So from the side of the player, of course, it's a worldwide stage this year. In these Olympics, the level will be much higher than the recent editions because, you know, there's teams like France, Spain, the United States too. You know, there's a lot of huge talent. So there will be scouts up there. There will be like, you know, many young players that will play at the Euros will go to the Olympics too, like Pedri and Pau Torres and Oyarzabal did for Spain 3 years ago, you know. So honestly, even from Firpo, because Firpo is being pre-called up too by the Dominican Republic as the overage player, you know. I'm not against it, honestly. But of course, it's a double face, you know, because on one hand, I think Matteo Joseph can really go there and shine. He can show what he can do because Spain, of course, will go there to win it. They want to win it, of course. So if he has a good role, a vital role, he can show what he can have good credentials going into the season, you know, because if he had a good spell at the Olympics, banking goals, you know, he can return back to Leeds with, okay, I can do this. It's like, you know, I have these credentials now because at one of the biggest stages in the world, you know, the Olympic Games, I did that against some of the best talents, you know, in the world. So I'm not against it, of course. But on the other hand, of course, he'll need to work even harder when he returns because he's going to miss preseason. And also, for me, it's positive, both for the player, for his development, his credentials, of course, but also for us because it forces us both on the left-back position and the striker position if they both go. And there's even, you know, a debate for me about Brendan Aronson because I think he can be one of the overage players for the United States, and also for Jorginho Rotor because, you know, some players may get injured and Rotor has been not called up by France, but he can be called up if certain players are not allowed to go. or renounce, because we need to remember too that this is not a FIFA event, because it's not in an international recognized international football window. So clubs can refuse to go, you know, clubs can refuse to let the players go to the Olympics. They can. But like I was saying, you know, this is
Andrea, just a quick jump in there. If Farke lets him go, what does that do for Matteo Joseph, though, when he has offers? Yes, he'll be happy, but does it also show that the coach isn't that bothered?
I don't know, honestly, because I think, you know, I think Matteo deserves more game time towards the end of the season, honestly, especially he showed what he can do. You know, when he was starting at Chelsea, he had some good cameos from off the bench. And I think in 10 minutes, you know, you cannot have a great impact on the game. You need to get more game time. So honestly, I think, you know, we've seen many players in the past, you know, like Pirlo, like Cristiano Ronaldo after Euro 2004, he went to the Olympics in Athens, you know, Messi in 2008, you know, Aguero. There's been great squad and great players who had their first big tournament at the Olympics. So honestly, if he lets him go, I think he trusts him, honestly. It shows that Farke trusts him, you know, because otherwise, you know, the club will have blocked him. And I think at the age of Matteo right now, I think for his development, it's better that he goes to the Olympics for me. And it's also, as I was saying, you know, it's vital for us because it forces us to get into the market and not stay with Pirlo and Bamford.
Sono le 18:30.
And just, you know, you heard that in Italian, yeah. it's the apple saying the time, you know. It says that.
I shit myself then.
I thought it was Joe. On his computer. I was like, what?
Bro, I was just going to go, see?
No. So I was saying, you know, it forces us to get a new striker and another left back too, or a defender. It forces us, if we have players like Aronson, Rotter, Firpo, Joseph going to the Olympics, some of them at least, because some will go, of course. Firpo for sure for me. It forces us to get players in the market. So that's why I'm happy, honestly, because I want more of that this season. I don't want to be playing with no midfielders on the bench, you know, with Pirlo and Rotter again with the change from the 10 and 9. No, I want new players in. So that thing will force us to get new players in for me, you know. See.
That's fair argument. Lockie, you disagree, don't you, my man? Talk to me, Matteo Joseph.
So I think looking at him, what he's done in his career, where he expects to be this season, I think it's unlucky that he's in a situation in this pre-season where if he wants the number 9 shirt, the starting number 9 shirt, which we expect and we all want, let's be honest, then last 3 weeks in pre-season, it is his time to get it. The last 3 weeks of pre-season are the 3 weeks that for me are the most important. Obviously, the first 2 or 3 weeks are fitness and all that stuff. The last 3 weeks are all the tactical details, all of it. That comes there. He will miss all of that. Every single session. He won't be there for it. So then, and the problem is, like I said, this is not, for me, Junior Firpo's different because he's established in the side. You know, he's got a place. He's a left back if he's here. For me, he's the left back. If he comes back into the fold after a few weeks, he goes straight back in because he's established. He is the starting left back. Aronson is an issue as well because he's not established in the side, so that would be an issue. Matteo Joseph isn't established. He's not the first team striker. He wants to be that. And to be that, for me, he has to be part of pre-season. He has to improve and show Daniel Farke at training. Not only is he good enough, which Daniel Farke knows, but can he fit what he wants and can he do what he requires? And if he's away at the Olympics doing good, and we're assuming he'll do well, he might not even play that much. You know, he might not score a goal. He might have a poor tournament. We don't know that, do we? That's an issue when he comes back. He's instantly third choice again. If he has
when does it finish if they go to the final, Locker?
After the first game, I believe.
Yeah. After the first game?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I mean. He's literally missing the 3 weeks, the 2-3 weeks building up to that, which is key. And then the game, it won't be there till the game after, which is a problem for me. Because in that time, you're building your team and you're building who you want to play in your team around each other. So if the number 9 is Matteo Joseph in Daniel Farke's mind, he won't be there for any of it. So you can't build a team around him in pre-season. You simply cannot. It just won't work. You'll have to use the other 2. And then if he plays the other two and you're basing your preparation for the season around either Bamford or Perot or Jorginho Rutter, they're the ones that are going to be in front of him. It's as simple as that. Like, look, he could go to the tournament, do really well, but he's still behind in what he needs to be. It's so tough for him. And like I said, it's an unfortunate situation because if he was established last season, it'd be great for him because we know what he can do. Farke knows what he can do. He'll come straight back in. But he isn't. He just isn't. And that's the issue for me. And I guess, Andre's is right. It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and that's the difficult choice. But the choice is he could go to the tournament, do really well. Either Daniel Farke loves what he does and think, right, you've done enough to show to me that you could come straight back in. That's great. Or he doesn't, and that leaves him behind.
Yeah,
it's tough, mate. It's a tough one for me. But I think he's got to look at what he's doing at Leeds United right now, what he wants to be in the future for Spain. He wants to play at World Cup for Spain. He wants to be at Euros for Spain. The start of the season,
I swear like Melier turned it down one year. Someone turned it down the other year. I swear, not last year, the year before maybe. Someone turned it down to stay at Leeds.
Sure.
I swear.
20.
Yeah, or have I got that wrong?
I don't know.
Maybe I've got that wrong.
Because we are Spain were in it, so we just had Llorente and Roca, but probably Roca, maybe, I don't know.
I'm gonna find out.
It is. I get it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, but for me, and it is like the Olympics. It's unbelievable, but it's not the World Cup. It's not the Euros. He will have that. He will have all of them, and I just think in order to get there, he needs a good start this season at the club he's at currently, and he has to start Leeds United because the worst thing that could happen is he has an average tournament, doesn't really do enough, and he's missed the crucial part of pre-season, and he comes back and he's third place again, and he won't play. That's my worry.
Yeah, that's the point, isn't it?
And then the future, he wants to play in the Euros for Spain. The World Cup will be more tough. It's tough for me.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I did put a poll in the chat. 67% think it's the right choice. It will be interesting. I sort of lean with Lockie a bit. I get it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity, but I was thinking he'll be our number 9. I genuinely thought he might be our number 9, but yeah.
In my view, he's not ready to start to be the number 9. We need another starting number 9 because we cannot afford to have. I think Pirot and Bamford should have marginal roles next season. Honestly, I think
that's the point, Andre. Yeah, if Farke doesn't see him as the starting number 9, then he can go. That'd be better, right? Because he's not. Actually, knocked me water. That could have been terrible. Because if he's not the starting number 9 and Farke sees him and that's been explained, then go and enjoy yourself at the Olympics. I get that. But it depends, I guess, what the manager sees in him and what he wants him to be. If he is that and he said to him, I want you to be my number 9, come to pre-season and prove to me that that's you. And for 3 weeks that pre-season he's not there. That's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Because if we get off to a flyer, he's going to struggle in it to get back in.
Yeah. It just will.
That's for sure,
Sorry, Darren, what are you going on about, bro? We don't
just said we want him to start. That's the problem.
Exactly.
We want him.
Every single one of us. And I don't know if you know, but none of us are on coaching setup. I know there might be some people that think we are, but we're not on the coaching setup, Darren. So I don't know how we have any choice in the matter whatsoever. Like, someone's just said, like, we've got Bamford and Pirot, let him have this. We need to now move on from Bamford, I think. And I'm a fan of his, by the way, but we need a 9. We need a new number 9, man.
Joe, we're assuming Bamford comes out pre-season fit as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. And lads, all respect to Darren, of course, but, I just said that he needs more game time this season, but still, he's not ready to be the starting number 9 for a championship side that wants to get promoted by the automatics. You need a more established one. You mean the proper one. He needs to be the first backup for me. That's for sure. That's guaranteed. The first backup. I don't rate for next season Pirot and Bamford, honestly. I think they need to have marginal roles. Pirot, honestly, I don't think he fits the system. Of course, he scored a goal, but this season showed that he doesn't fit the system. So if I were in the Leeds transfer department, but I'm not, of course, he's going to stay because he has a contract and all that. I think I will try to get a move for him, honestly, and get another player in. But I'm not into the scouting and transfer department at Leeds. So in my head, I have a new number 9, Joseph as the backup, and then Bamford as the reserve one, the third one. Honestly, that's where I'm at the minute.
Joe, you said you wanted to keep. I don't know when I've said that going into this season. I don't think I have. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Listen, I say so much on here. Sometimes I forget. So maybe I have.
This is it, Joe.
Come on,
that
mate.
whole open the door for Matteo. Matteo Joseph is good enough to open the door for himself. If he's doing enough, he will play over Bamford. I hate this. Bamford's playing because he's been here a while, and it's not true. Matteo Joseph has so much talent. If he's doing good enough, Farke will play him. It's just that trust element that Farke does take time with certain players, obviously. So.
Exactly. And
100%.
apart from that, he's so versatile, Matteo Joseph, that he can also play behind the striker and also
left.
And he's only tried him there in the first friendly of last pre-season, against Man United. He's never played him there again. I think at some point in the season, it would have been good to see Bamford with Joseph behind when Rotter was struggling after his surgery, honestly, for me.
Yeah.
And also, just on that, he missed 8 weeks to start the season from that injury, remember? That affected him last year.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen again. He's behind. He can't. I just think I get it. It's tough for him. I get it's really tough. It'll be tough for Matteo, obviously. It's a chance to represent your country at the Olympics. Again, putting yourself on the stage, scoring goals. It could be great for him, but he's in the situation right now.
Great for him, not for us though, Lockie. Right?
Yeah, he can't afford that. Like I said, if this was last season, that'd have been unbelievable. He could have done that. If he'd established himself this season a bit more, he could have done it. If it was a few weeks earlier this year, great. But it's in a key part of pre-season for me. It's a difficult.
100%. Sean says Pirro will be the main striker next season. If a striker can score 14 goals in his first season, if he can fix his problems, he'll be a main number 9. Yeah, but he doesn't fit our system, I don't think. We've mentioned it before, haven't we? So it's whether or not, he can... we can get him to do that next season. Sorry, I'm answering 2 questions at once there in my head. But no, I don't think so. Sean. There was another question as well. Where is it? This is a good point as well, Gav, about him probably having a conversation with Farke before. Before he goes. Potentially, who knows? It'll be an interesting one. Obviously, we'll have to see when they report back to pre-season and what the squad makeup look like. Lads, obviously, Nancy Froston's done an article as well. I don't know if you caught me chatting about that, about potential high-ticket items that Leeds United could sell going into the window. Just looking at these that she's mentioned on here. Archie Gray... Tottenham and Dortmund apparently are links, but I almost feel like the Dortmund links because of Jude Bellingham and Tottenham, just because Skip's been mentioned over the last couple of days. Nonto, again, there is a significant sell-on clause, by the way, Jack. I did have a look at that. There is one. The Zurich chairman said it. Again, can I just ask you on Nonto now? We wanted 30. You're not getting anywhere close to that this summer, are you?
Absolutely. 100%.
What do you reckon you get, Andrea? What do you reckon you get? About 20?
But I think realistically, abroad from Italy, I'm going to underline that. Abroad from Italy, between 15 and 20 right now.
Yeah,
I think so. More likely 15, 17, 18, I think.
Yeah. You think a team pays that in Italy, Andrea?
Absolutely not. 100% for me. Because like I said, honestly, for me, I've read many reports, about clubs interested from Italy, in Njonto, but I can just do a search now on Google, that is in Italian, this one in the office, the last article I have in Italy about Njonto is 2 weeks ago, and it's about, Njonto wants to return to Italy, but there's no real rumor, and honestly, there's clubs struggling to pay for players that are consistently big in Serie A more than 10 million. So they won't pay 15 million, 20 million for a player that has played in the Championship. Let's be realistic. I think Willie showed a good sign this season. He had some injury problems, of course. He was penalized too by the bad choice, at the start of the season of trying to force a move and all of that, Showed a good sign, but he was never consistent. with this pedigree, after a very good season in the Premier League, he should have taken the league by storm like Somerville did.
Yeah.
Because he was, picked in the Italian side. I told you, we rarely pick players from the Championship, because the Championship, of course, is shown on the zone here in Italy, but not many people watch it. So right now, as we haven't been promoted, we're on par in terms of considerations in Italy to Serie B sides. It's unfortunate to say, but it's like that. They don't rate, they see him just as a player at a second-tier side who hasn't been promoted. The fact that we were not promoted doesn't help him in terms of doesn't help us in terms of the transfer value for sure.
Do you reckon the best we can hope for is a club in England being interested again in it? Outside of that, no one's paying it.
Absolutely, we need to look for England or Germany. For me, I think he might fit very well in the Bundesliga or a German side, because of
sell him to Leipzig, man. Sell him to Leipzig.
No, but I think it's likely one of the most likely to leave, honestly. But yeah, I think he still needs to develop a lot, because in terms of this system too, in terms of decision making too. I've seen also that, sorry, also the comment from Tom, in the chat. It's true, not many Italian clubs have money to spend, and they spend it wisely. They don't overspend. So that's also a good point. Absolutely, about 100%. For example, Roma are not an overly spending side. Look at Lukaku last season. They got Lukaku but on loan, for example. Yeah. They got Paredes on loan. Many the top clubs get a lot of players on loan. Look at the Inter, they spent a lot and now they were in huge debts and they were taken over by the fund that was owing interest to that the club was only owing interest to. So to the debts, they took over as creditors. They were creditors. They took over the club because of the huge debts of the former owner.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Let's just move it on slightly. Obviously, Ethan Ampo, I don't think any of us are worried about that, but he is considered a high-ticket item. Somerville being the main one. We know the clubs that are interested in him probably will be sold. Pascal Strauch's another. Again, I don't see him going, injury issues and stuff. Rutter, another Melier mentioned as well. Look, we're gonna jump on over to an article that Graham Smith's just done. He's done a Q&A, but just can I just get your opinion, lads, on who you feel will be sold? Because it's clear now we need to sell two, maybe 1, 2. Who do you think out of them high-ticket items? Because there are outside of that, we don't have any high-ticket items. You could argue maybe Melier isn't considered an high-ticket items, but the rest are, and we know we need to get money. Who do you think goes, Lockie?
So I think there's 2 real high-ticket items, and I think we need to sell one of them if it is them, and that's Archie Gray or Somerville.
Yeah.
Because they're over 30 million probably, or in and around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Behind that, you've got Nonto, like Andrea said, it's probably at 15. So for me, if you can sell one of Somerville or Gray, which I believe will be Somerville if someone pays that fee, I think we only need to lose one. Like if you lose a Nonto for 15, there might have to be another one in there for similar price, if that makes sense. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure about the financial stuff. I think if you've got 35 million from a player, surely that's
forget about Vorber, actually. We forget about Vorber. He could be considered a high-ticket item. Couldn't he?
Hopefully he had a good Euro, because I was looking at in lunch break. I was looking at the potential starting 11s for all the side, on Gazzetta dello Sport, and it's likely that they will play with Posch, Lienhardt, Trauner, and Vene. So Wobber won't start apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Against France.
Interesting.
What's the likelihood of the fee we get for Llorente, Andrea? What's the noises in Italy? Is there any?
Honestly, I can check too, but I don't think we got more than 7. Honestly, I think maybe
about 5 because of his age.
Because of his age, I can check very quickly if there's there's an article 7 hours ago. Let's see.
Just while you double check that, so I'm going to just fire some of the questions at you. So Mr. Rossi 1990 asked him gut feeling who goes, just to skim read it. He said right off the bat, Somerville has the look and feel of the most likely to departure for a number of reasons, good enough, etc. could rake in like 30 or 35 million for him. The profit margin is huge because obviously we only paid 1.5 or so. He also says Willy Gnonto is the second most likely. He wanted to go last summer, didn't have an amazing season. He wants to return to the senior fold with Italy. Also mentions your best mate leaves in Somerville. It just makes perfect sense. I don't think I'd disagree with Graham Smith there at all. I think them two.
That's fair.
Yeah, and you're able to recoup, let's say, minimum 45, minimum, I reckon, with them both going. Maximum, you could get more than that. But if Leeds, like, if we were to get the minimum, say, 30 and 15, 45, at least you would get for them
for this
two.
level, isn't it?
I think so.
By the way, yeah, like they're saying in the chat, it's 5 million. They had an obligation, an option, to buy. But yeah, like I said, lower. They'll try to lower it down.
Of course they will. They've been doing it for the last 3 seasons, man.
Yeah, but imagine last summer it was 12 millions, and they didn't exercise that. Then he exercised the long clause and went back to Italy. Had a great season. Now
there was talk of PSG at one point, wasn't there?
Yeah, because of Luis Enrique, But I think 5-6 million, considering the age too, it's the right price.
Yeah.
Because if you're not looking at the age, but just looking at the way he played, I think 7-8 million is the right price. But yeah, like I said, Roma, they still have from previous owners, a lot of debts with the banks, So they're not a club. They always need to comply with financial fair play. And from Roma too, I want to say maybe it's a dream, but Spinazzola is out of contract and there's rumors of him coming to Saudi, but I think some clubs in England will need to take a look at him.
Not in the Championship, they won't, man. Surely not.
Sorry?
Not in the Championship, though.
Not in the Championship, probably, yeah. But because of his age, he's, I think, 31, yeah.
So, we should try get Hummels as well, eh?
Yeah. No, not in the Championship, but of course, I think it's some clubs in the Premier League, like, for example, Ipswich, maybe,
Yeah.
That
would be cool. More questions. So apparently we're going to Germany on a pre-season tour. He was asked about that. He was then asked, is there any reason why Leeds won't want to sell Gnonto? He says, nah, I don't think Leeds necessarily want to sell him. It just makes sense. I think he'll most likely favour the outcome as well. He was then asked how likely it is that Aronson will still be here come September. I know he said he's staying, but from what I understand, he still has an active loan clause that can be used, feeling a little bit sceptical. Graham Smith says the loan clause is interesting because we were of the understanding that only 2 clauses remained, which was Jack Harrison and Mark Rocker. But regardless, the fact that Farke has held positive talks with Aronson, club sources were confident in certain he would return, and the player himself has gone on record to confirm it, suggests to me that the plan is and they'll stick to it. Having said what he said this week, there's just no way Aronson could force another loan exit and ever show his face in Leeds again, which I think is fair because, Lockie, how did you take to the propaganda, his interviews and stuff? Obviously, me and you were on board straight away, but like afterwards, the way he's talking about I've put on muscle, he spoke about the conversation with his granddad, etc. All positives on that front, I think.
Yeah. That side of it's right. He has put muscle on. You can just look at him. He looks slightly in the chest area. Looks a little more filled. And there's obviously like puff bits in there, isn't there, where they're talking about saying the right things. But yeah, the stuff with his granddad's obviously people saying that bit's not real. Of course, that's real. That's personal stuff. You're not going to lie about that. Yeah, it's good. And like there's always a little bit that is skeptical though that it could still go if a club came in that was higher than he expected. Oh, I'll go there. But hopefully he stays. I think he will. I think he will. I'm 95% sure he will.
Yeah. I think he will as well. Let's go.
And let's also remember that there's the Copa America this summer. So if he has a good tournament, clubs might come knocking and bye-bye again.
Imagine. I don't think he can though now, can he?
Yeah, I agree with Graham in that. He can never show his face in Leeds.
Definitely not. Right, let's just have a look. He's been asked some mad questions about bands and his beard and all that sort of stuff.
Just once the granddad stuff. Why would he lie about that?
Yeah. I don't think he lies about that. Why would you need to do that? I don't.
Other bits probably. It's just said.
Yeah. I don't think you need to lie about that as per se. Let's have a look. Which current player do you think will be key for our promotion bid next season? He says Archie Gray staying and being absolutely key. I don't get why he'll be desperate to move when he's had one full season of senior football at the club he adores. Now, should Leeds go up next season, then I could absolutely see a Premier League move for him. Right now, it only makes sense if a club much bigger than Leeds comes along with an offer that is too good for 49ers Enterprises to turn down. Do you think we will get an offer that is almost too... I don't think we will. No one's going to pay. I think I was very confident in... Look, I'm not saying Ben Jacobs is the wealth of all, that he's the truth master and all that. I'm not saying that. But when he said, I know for a fact that Liverpool have held an interest and stuff, but it almost feels like it's too early yet because Gray's happy and he's playing football. Do you envisage... Of course, this will ramble on, and every club under the sun will be linked to him. But I just don't see him leaving. I'm so confident that Archie Gray stays this summer.
I feel like there's a long-term vision for him at other clubs, and the best thing for him right now is to just keep developing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And clubs are not going to sacrifice, bringing him to their club if they know he's not going to play more than maybe 15 games a season. Yeah. He'll play every game if he's fit this year. He will. And then next year, we'll see what the situation is. And the only thing for me is the value. The clubs might think, we get him now, we'd be cheaper than maybe next year when he's had a better season. That's the only thing that worries me about a bid, potentially. If they pay 30, 40 now, they might think they might save themselves maybe 70 million next season if we did get promoted, and Liverpool want to come in. So, yeah, I think he does stay. I do. I think we can afford to keep him. Obviously, we've got someone really we could sell on, who's also got big clubs after him. But I think it's sensible from him. He's so young. He literally just turned 18. One more season in the Championship, doing what you do will do nothing to stunt your growth. You'll continue to go. So, good decision if he stays, I think.
Yeah. Andrea, I'll put this to you because he was asked about Paddy Bamford. What's the situation with Bamford this summer? He was named as one Leeds would try to move on due to wages, but I don't see where he would go. Graham Smith says... I don't see why the club would go into another season placing such a heavy burden on his shoulders when fitness and injuries have taken his toll. He's a steady striker, not that 20 goals a season every season guy, but just steady. I'm sure I could see why he wouldn't be ready to move on and enjoy a fresh start somewhere else. It's not been easy for him at Leeds, both on and off the pitch. Good age, still got plenty of football, plenty to offer. He's hold-up play, pressing, work rate, etc. But he does say the problem with any move might be finding a club prepared to pick up his wages. And look, if he'd played a full season, you could argue you might be able to have a conversation, but still fitness issues, massive wages, contracted till 2026. He's staying in here, I think, Andrea.
Yeah, I agree, honestly. I agree with everything you just mentioned, because it's the wages, the problem, and the fitness, because he's often injured. And yes, high wages compared to the contribution to the pitch right now. He's a very good person, I think. He was, when fit, a very good footballer, but I agree, we cannot afford to go into another season with Bamford as one of the main players. I think right now, at best, he's a rotation player, like I said, in my pecking order right now. I think, right now we have Pirot, Joseph, and Bamford. I would like another number 9 ahead of Pirot, honestly.
Yeah.
Or a different one to Pirot. Bamford, honestly, for a club that wants to get promoted out the automatics, he can be a veteran player, but look at his age. He's not a veteran. He's not 35, 36, 37 yet. So for him, I think it would be good for his career right now to get a new move. He's been at Leeds since 2018. Same as Melia, 2019 Melia, of course, but it's many seasons that he's at Leeds. I think he needs a fresh start, a new chapter. He still has something to offer because we've seen that when he's fit, he can score, he can press, he can do the play, he can stretch the team. I think in other championship side, mid-table and all that, he can be the starter. So even for a club, like that, he can even go. Of course, he doesn't. I don't know what the relationship right now, but it might be a good consideration for Derby County, for example. He needs to go to a club where he can start week in and week out.
Yeah.
Or just be in contention week in and week out. There's many clubs. Plymouth have stayed up, for example. There's other, like Stoke City. Those kind of clubs. I don't recall how he left Derby, because I don't know what the relationship right now, because I think that...
Every club he's been at hates him, by the way.
What?
Every club he's been at hates him, and all the clubs he comes up against seem to hate him.
Yeah, I don't know why, because probably he scores against them every time. For example, against
Maybe.
Boro, he scores
Yeah.
out of time. When he was at Derby, scored. He celebrated. I think that he doesn't have a good relationship with the Forest fans, because when he was at Derby County, of course, he's from Nottingham.
Yeah, of
Then
course.
they were mad because he didn't, because he celebrated with his teammates after they beat them in the Midlands Derby, the Frank Clough Derby, But yeah,
That's
I
a
think
wild
it's better for him, to move on and get a fresh start to a club that where he can be a good player. I think Plymouth could be a good move, honestly, for him, like Forshaw, because they need players with experience. After it's really difficult to stay up again. After
Got Wayne Rooney now as well, eh? Maybe Wayne Rooney's the man for bringing back Bamford, man.
yeah, they need experienced players also for that, also for that reason. Yeah, because they have a very young squad. I don't think Whittaker will stay. I think it will move, So, yeah.
Well, great transition there, by the way, because yours truly asked a question. Do you expect Leeds to do business with teams in the EFL taking the cream of the crop, specifically O'Hare, Schmodics and Whittaker, for example?
Good question, yeah.
Yeah, man, thank you. He said, I expect Leeds would love dearly to take players of that ilk, from them teams, but it's not as simple as that, considering that Pirro was the most expensive purchase last summer. Both Schmodics and Whittaker might well fetch asking prices beyond that total. With P&S in mind and the drop in parachute payments, I would not foresee more than one big splash of cash on one individual. So again, we were saying about players on the continent, 5 million less. Not when you can probably spend less and lesser and get a lesser known player from the continent. The British tax is always there, and no one in the EFL will be out to do Leeds any favours when it comes to selling star men. All of that said, you'd love to see any of those three at Ellen Road next season. O'Hare on a free transfer would be sensational business. There will likely be Premier League interest to contend with. See, yeah. There will be likely Premier League interest to contend with, but if you can't get a top flight move, then the next best thing would be Leeds United. It will be difficult to get Schmodics and Whittaker for the price they'll want, right?
Yeah, that's it. And like I just said, I'm not going to repeat everything. There's no point. It's more expensive here, isn't it? That's the issue. Yeah. We all like the Sarahs and the Schmodicses, and he's a bit older, so it might be slightly different. The Whittakers, but they're going to cost what, 15 million each for one position, one player, where you could literally go at the continent. I get it's more of a risk. It is, because they've never played in the Championship. Well, some of them might have. You never know, that left and went to continent, but you're getting them for 4 or 5 million. That's 3 positions for 1 year. Yeah, there can be a balance there, of course. You can figure a value, maybe, but yeah, it's expensive, isn't it? Getting top players from Championship.
It is, and like Jack says here, O'Hare done free agent. But the thing is, Andrea, if a Premier League club comes, Ipswich, even Ipswich, or Southampton, or Leicester, we got no chance. No chance.
100% going Prem. 100% going Prem. I don't think Smodish is, also considering the age, a Premier League player. So
Everton have been linked to him, I don't think they'll make that move.
They've made so many wrong choices in terms of signings. That will be another one, honestly, because I don't think he's a Premier League player. I think he's a great player for the Championship.
Fair.
What about the player Jack just said, Andre?
No, he cannot survive. He's saying Joel. No, but again, if you don't want to take Callum O'Hare because he's going Prem, you have to go and come knocking to Hamburg and get /Lobenes.
Okay, there you go.
Please.
No, honestly, I was joking, but if there's the English tax for the Championship player, you should go and sign players from the Zweite Bundesliga, the Bundesliga, the Eredivisie. There's many good profiles there that are very similar in terms of the way, the tempo, and intensity of the Championship. Also in Italian Serie B, there's many good players. Girma was just an inquiry, not deals and talks like some people have reported in England, but yeah, there's many other good players in Serie B, for example, and it's a physical league, so there's many players that you can also get on loan, from clubs in Serie A, in Bundesliga, and also in the Premier League. But I won't use the loan market a lot this season unless we have to save some cash because of what we mentioned about the finances and all of that, considering that in the opposite case, we need to spend a lot of money and splash the cash to get big players. We need to use the scouting system properly and also get 1 or 2 loans.
And there are no excuses for that, Andrea, because the recruitment team, the 49ers and Farkenau, have had long enough time to make sure they're prepared, right? So they need to hit the ground running. They're not going to get no second chance, the wrong word, but they're not going to be given context excuses this time around. For me, we need to get it right from minute one, I think.
The only thing that would be annoying is if loads of Max Aarons happened again, where we're on the verge of signing him, then a top game goes, actually, we'll have him, and then when he's on his way to medical second.
Yeah, he'd have been a right buy, by the way, if we'd have got Max Aarons. So good. So good. Sean Ely says, I don't get Sammy Schmodics. No one heard of him this season, and he's in his late 20s. If he was that good, people would have heard of him before. He smacks of a one-season wonder. What do we make to that, folks? One-season wonder? A lot of people say that.
I don't think he's a one-season wonder. I think by the way that he plays, honestly, he can be a consistent player in the championship for the next seasons. He can have an impact. I thought we should have signed him in January because we needed that type of player. I think he is very similar to Asai's Pablo kind of player. So we missed that in terms of creativity, and he's a creative player. I think he's also had is a player that has impact, his leadership. And also for Ireland, I think the first games he played, of course, they faced, for example, Hungary and Portugal. But yeah, he's already a consistent player there, And with Ireland, honestly, I think they have good players, a good balance. They just need to find a manager to manage that group that needs a leader in that group. But Smodic is a very good player. I think he's be consistent in the championship for a top club. Absolutely.
Yeah, players take time to find their feet at times. He could be a one-season wonder. It could be. It could be, yeah. But you look at Jamie Vardy, how good was he until 27, 28, sitting on the bench?
You could argue Ben Brayton Diaz didn't kick off till late right? And he still scored goals in the Prem for a rubbish Sheffield United team.
He did. And that's the risk with these players. It is. There's only one real season to go by, I guess, and that is the risk. So that's probably why the recruitment team might be going, that could happen.
Exactly.
But he is a really good player. Well, he was last year, so it's
100%. A little bit of what we were discussing earlier, he was asked about Matteo Joseph. Will he get more game time next season? He said, this is a must. My feeling was that he didn't get enough of a chance last season. When Patrick Bamford was dropped from the starting 11 and Joel Pirro came in, everyone expected Joseph to be next up. It sticks in Graham's mind because that was the day that Joseph emotions got the better of him after a Rondo squabble with Bamford, but he continued to knuckle down and bide his time. Next season, he could really take on a lot more importance and responsibility. He looks like a serious prospect. But I genuinely feel that the Olympics could scupper that a little bit from the club's perspective. He was asked about Vauber and Christensen. Any news about them returning like Aronson? He said, the latest I've heard from the club is that nothing can be ruled out just yet. He says, I know while people hone in on Vauber because you would expect him to find the championship incredibly comfortable, and he adds depth at left-sided centre-back and at left-back. I certainly wouldn't have him ahead of Pascal Strauch. What do you make to that, folks? Agree? Disagree?
I agree.
Yeah. That's what, I don't get the loving for Vauber, by the way. I know he's had a great season. I know he's been playing, but
fashion merchant.
Yeah, no, I feel that though, bro. I genuinely do. I think
he's Vauber. I was thinking, not you, Vauber.
No, but that's what I think about Vauber, though, bro. Because I feel we were that bad defensively that when he came in, we looked better, and even I were like, what a play. And then 5 games later, I'm going, no, we've been hoodwinked here. He's shit as well. Do you know what I mean?
Not yet.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Pascal's great. It's just injuries, isn't it? If he didn't have his injuries in his career, there's an argument that he won't be in the championship right now. So I remember at the time he was linked. He had to choose between the Dutch national side and Belgium because they both wanted him at one point. But he goes on to say. He does go on to say the thing about Vauber and Christensen is that Leeds distinctly had the feeling both would stay last summer. Neither man did. I don't get the impression that Prague and 49ers Enterprises will put pride before business or sporting decisions, but nor do I see them building a team around players who ran away after relegation. I don't see much of a case at all for reintegrating Christensen. Someone will take him on loan and pay a chunk, if not all of his wages, and I can only just see a case for Vauber. Mind, I could only just see a case for Aronson before Monday. If you're a betting man, where do you see either of them returning one, and which one if? I'm convinced Christensen comes back.
No,
both of them. Wauber will not. I don't think he'd do anything to not play in the Championship by the sounds of it.
I think they're better than Leeds, you know. And honestly, I wouldn't want them back. I think Aronson, of course, they all decided to leave. But tactically, Aronson, if you look at the players that went on loan, is the only one that I see into the system. The others I don't see them into the system. So I would like to see them gone. On a permanent, that won't happen because, of course, that would mean to sell them at a lower fee. And there will be a loss, and we don't need to register a loss, you know, in the finances. So again, loan. The loan brigade,
And with Vobra as well, left-sided centre-back, I know whatever opinions on that, Daniel Farker likes to go with a left-footed on left side and the right foot on the right side. So he'll go, Woba, look, you've got Pascal Straucher's competition. You might not even start. And Woba will go, why would I not want to start in the Championship? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%. Oliver asked, what article is this? I've got it here, mate. I put it in the chat. I was just going to wait towards the end because I think it's only fair. But yeah, that's the article. It's a Q&A. He opened up his DMs earlier on. Up the boys marching on together, says Jake King. Don't you think this guy looks like Mason Mount? No.
Yeah, a bit, you know.
Yeah, I think so. I always think it every time I see it. He was then asked about Charlie Crew. He said, Charlie Crew, look out for him in the early rounds of the Carabao Cup and stuff. He won't have a massive thing, but be drip fed in. Then asked about Joffy. Someone at Sony Graham, or at Sony says, Graham, what's the story with Joffy? Surely he can't sit in the 23s for the rest of his Leeds career. Any move on the cards? And he said, we're still very much in the period of the summer when almost everything is in flux. But I would be stunned if Gelhardt was not itching to get out of Ellen Road and into a team where he can play football and score goals. I think he would have Championship takers, but I wouldn't be against a drop down into League One. That's where Matty, do you know what? Go be the main man at a League One team and score goals.
Jack Clark. I can't mention this, Joe, but Skubala at
Lee
Lincoln.
Davis. Yeah,
imagine Skubala with Joffy again at Lincoln. That'd be great, wouldn't it? In League One, challenging for playoffs. He'd love that. Yeah, he needs to play. I want him to play because I like Joffy a lot. I want him to play.
He's then asked about Rodon and Roberts. He says, how much of a chance have we got of signing them? He says the Rodon one is very much the priority because of the importance to the side last season. The numbers have to stock up, and Tottenham have, of course, protected themselves with the extra year. But I think Rodon is pretty key here. He felt like he found a home at Ellen Road last season. He enjoyed himself and was popular, not just with the Welsh lads, but the rest of the squad. Farker loves him. The fans love him. He'll want to come back, and that will stand in Leeds' favour. As long as there is not an outrageous British tax added by Spurs, I could see Leeds making this one happen. Just on Rodon, Graham earlier said in the article when I asked him about the EFL stuff, there'll be only one big buy, he said, right? That will be Rodon if we manage to do it on a permanent, you'd imagine.
Yeah, but, you know...
It almost doesn't feel like a new signing if you go and spunk 15 million, 10 million.
Yeah, but if you splash the cash on a defender, honestly, I think then we'll need to make smart signings up front and in midfield especially because, you know, you cannot afford another season with Pirot, Bamford. You cannot afford another season with Kamara and Gruev starting. For me, too. You cannot afford another season with Ampadu dropping back to centre-back. Work is needed all around, you know. So I love Rodon, but if that means, you know, spending all the big money on him and undervalue then the signings in terms of, you know, the money where we can afford to spend on midfield and striker, I think you can also find other centre-backs that play in a similar style of football that you need to develop, you know. And we need to reason about that.
This, very. I agree with this.
Too much, I think.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah.
We're in the Championship. If you're in the Prem, that's good. Good, 50 million, good. Yeah. But that's Championship. That's a lot, isn't it? That's 3 or 4 players.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I get why everyone loves him and that. And I was talking to Connor about this earlier. I said the same to Joe. Like Ben White was different because Ben White was a Rolls Royce, right? Yeah. Rodon's. I feel like I'm doing him a disservice, but there are other Rodons out there. This is my point. I think Ben White was a bit special, and I know he plays right back, but he's playing for a team that's challenging for fucking titles and in Champions League. That's the level of that lad. But when we're talking about Rodon, I'm a bit like, you can go and get another Rodon. I don't want to spunk 10, 12, 15 million on Joe Rodon. I'm sorry, I don't.
It is a lot of money, and that's he was really good though. It's about, and that would be excellent. You got your partnership there, Strout, Rodon, boom. You can work with that all summer. That's great. But yeah, a lot of money. I personally, and I'm not a financial, I think it makes sense if we pay less than 10. I think any more than that it's getting a bit silly, to be honest.
Yeah. And then he goes on to talk about Roberts. It is getting silly. And I agree with Graham here as well. He said, look, he's at Burnley. Would it make sense for Leeds to spend money on him? Whilst he settled straight into the squad, his performances were not so compelling that Farke wanted him to start over Gray. So although it's still early to rule anyone or anything out, I would categorise Rodon as more likely to return. As wild as it sounds, I'm not that sold on him. And I think we as Leeds fans get too giddy, bro. Yeah, Roberts, we get too giddy because he loves the club, top lad. Ultimately, he came in. I think he played, like someone said, about 16 games or something like that, which is wild when you think about it. He had one amazing performance against Leicester where he changed the game because he scored. But outside of that, I don't know what he did. And ultimately, Archie Gray seen all seers off. He's seen Byram off, Spence off, Drama off, and Roberts. So I don't see the point in that move.
I don't mind it. I don't. I think what you got to take into account as well is he was really good, and it wasn't long ago. It was literally the season before last. He was excellent in the Championship for Burnley, winning team, and he worked really well in how they played. I think the issue with Roberts, we didn't see the best of him. He came in January. I don't think that helped from a defensive position where he also wasn't first choice when he came in. That was, he preferred Archie there still. That didn't help. So he never really played, never really got into a flow of it. Again, at Burnley, got completely shut out after the first few weeks of the season. So he hadn't played maybe 7 or 8 weeks before that. I think, I know what you mean. He doesn't do something that makes you go, wow, he's not someone that you're going to score loads of goals or get you loads of assists, or he's not even an outstanding defender. But the ideal situation for me is if we got Roberts in, again, I said about Rasmus Christensen, if we got him in, I think it's a good play to have there if you can get him really cheap. I still want another right back. I want a young right back. Van Uwijk, mentioned last summer. Someone like that. Yeah. Not him. He's too expensive now, I'd imagine. But of course, that type of profile, right? I want someone like that. Actually, was kind of that, but he'll play midfield. So, yeah, I don't mind it, Joe. I don't mind it, but I don't want to just go with that because you are right. He wasn't great, but I think with the preseason he could be better. But how good could he be for us? Is the question.
Honestly, I agree. Honestly, about the fact that I want another right back too, but I like Roberts as a player, but for me, it won't make sense for us, and it won't make sense for him too, because the starting right back will be Archie Gray. Yeah, 100%. And it won't make sense for Burnley to sell him. He's out of his contract next summer to a direct rival.
The new manager might want him, bro.
Yeah, but I think he's established at Championship level. He was good when they got promoted. So I think they will keep him first and foremost. And if they want to keep him, they need to offer him a new contract this summer because he's out of contract next summer. Norton Coffey was on our scouting report last summer. We like him. He's a good player. I think I expect him better for him, but he's still on his development curve. Honestly, I expected a better season for him at Millwall, but overall Millwall were an ups and downs team. But honestly, I don't think it will make much sense for him to arrive here because he won't start ahead of Archie Gray. We know that Archie Gray will be the starting right back next season, and I would like to get a 24-25 right back. Honestly, one that has already played in the Championship, knows the league, to be the backup for Archie. I think Van Uwijk is a good shout. Lockie was the first one. Let's remember that. Lockie was the first one to mention him when he was playing in the Netherlands. Lockie, want to be clear, 100%. Lockie was the first one to mention him. Great player. I think he's very good. But
who was the first one to mention him, Andrea?
Lockie was the first one to mention him. I think if he moves, he's already expensive for me because we know that Coventry, Ben Sheaf probably is going to leave. They sold Gyökeres, Aimer, all those players, and they like to get paid very much, Coventry, and so it won't be an easy one to get, But there's others right back, what? For example, Archie Gray as the starter, and I would always mention him, but it's just an example of the type of player that I want, not necessarily him, Callum Britton from Blackburn, for example, another similar player, Trey Young from Sunderland, very difficult to get, but an established player like 34, 25, 26, 27, like for example Callum Britton, but there's many out there that can play a similar role to him.
100%. 100%. Well, that was the end of the Q&A as well there, to be fair. I think there's loads for us to go into. It's going to be a bit of a mad one over the next few weeks. I feel like I'll be live every fucking hour, to be honest. It's going to be a bit wild.
Yeah, it's going to be silly season, isn't it? The next few weeks.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just chuckling. Yeah, man. Sorry, I've just got a laughing fit. Yeah, Connor Roberts didn't play a lot of football. I think he played 12 times and and started like 2 games, but that says a lot. I think that says a lot anyway in itself. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, my Scouties. I'm just the vibesman, though. I'm just the vibesman, me. I'm the one that goes, go there, you go there, and then that's it.
You're the director of football, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. I go, you go to Germany, you go to Italy, I'll see you in a week. Yeah, man. Listen, I'm going to be live again in about an hour because the Euros kick off tonight. Germany take on Scotland. I'm going for an upset, and when I say upset, I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Lockie, how's Germany-Scotland going to go?
Hope Germany smoke them.
Dear, what score?
3-1.
3-1. What
My
about you,
trusty
Andrea?
3-1. Yeah.
Andrea?
Oh, sorry.
He was thinking so hard about that.
You know that we don't like each other with the Germans, so I'm going to support Scotland, but I think Germany is going to win 3-0. But by the way, hopefully Scotland can get an upset. Honestly, I'll be cheering on Scotland, but
Yeah,
I
that's
think
why
Germany,
I put my Billy Bremner top on today. Up the Scots. Up the Scots.
Up the Scots. Go on Scotland, yeah.
Yeah. Danny, you might as well have just burnt whatever you put on that, like a quid thing. Like to put a Scotland wins difficult enough, but to say they're going to win 3-1's wild. No one. I'm surprised you didn't get 800 to 1. To be honest, mate. If that comes in now,
who's going to play up front? Adams or Shankland?
Adams, I think it'll be Adams. I think it'll be Adams. I think he's injured, bro. I think he's injured.
Okay.
Yeah, he got injured. Yeah. He got injured. Listen, folks, there's a redirect on this as well for my good friend Cass over at Never a Foul. So what'll happen is after this video, you'll go straight on over there. Make sure you're going over, put in the chat, JUSTJOE raid, show some love. It helps my channel out as well because they return the favour and all that sort of jazz. But yeah, go over there, put JUSTJOE raid. I'll be back live at 7:30. Big up to Scotland. These two, I don't know what. Have you got anything on, Lockie?
No.
No, nothing at all.
Later.
Yeah, anything over the next few days?
I'll be doing some videos. I've not decided. I've got a few ideas. I might do a striker. Do we need a striker video? Break it down.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think so. Maybe now.
Yeah. I'll get that
now
up
that
tomorrow.
Matteo Joseph's got his eyes on the Olympics. Maybe.
Apart from that, just keep doing my recruitment videos, mate.
Yeah. Andrea, do Italy play this weekend?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. And Dortmund is a very good place for us, but very difficult game tomorrow, like I said on the other night, because Albania is...
Come on, Armando Broja!
No, not Armando Broja. You need to say, come on, Gianluca Scamacca.
Yeah. I've got Di Marco in my fantasy team, so come on, Di Marco.
Come on, Di Marco, yeah. No, tomorrow night going to birthday party, so we'll watch the game, and
nice.
Hopefully we win because I think that at least someone will celebrate tomorrow. We have many Albanians, a large Armenian community here, like a Italian town. So at least someone will celebrate tomorrow. We'll see which part will celebrate. Yeah,
I will be in your Twitter mentions if you get beat as well. By the way, we will be there. Anyway, that's enough.
But by the way. Sorry, mate. I want to interrupt. James is rightly saying, Italy can do better than the World Cup performance. Just want to remind this, 1-4, like Mourinho,
Yeah. Okay, mate. Okay.
All love.
Yeah, all love. Of course it is, man. Right, listen, folks, smash a like on the video. Join me tonight if you're about. Did a counterpoint earlier on, and also the Euro Breakfast Show, which will be back in the morning at 9 a.m. You have me in your team, Joe? What do you mean? Yeah, of course. I mean, what team? What are you on about?
I need to create him on EAFC 24 and put him in your team, probably.
Okay.
Maybe it means Ben me. He's not at the tournament. I don't know.
I don't
You
know.
have me.
I don't know. Yeah, Demar, you're in my team. English or Spanish? You've been spamming this. I don't know. Me? Sí. Yo soy hables español. Buenos días. Mujer. Yeah, that's all I've got.
Quante Escocia, vamos por toda esta noche. Vamos, carajo, vamos.
Vamos, carajo, sí. Anyway, right, okay. Sí! Right, we'll see you in a bit, folks. Bye-bye. Bye.